Are you tired of feeling stuck in limiting habits that block your femininity? It is truly time, ladies, to break free and unlock your true feminine power. It's really easy for us to fall into these patterns that hold us back from embracing our full potential as women. But today, I'm going to teach you how to truly break free. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Dr. Nicole. I am your feminine energy and boundaries queen, and I'm here to help you have a fulfilling relationship of your dreams, but more importantly, a healthy relationship with yourself. All right, let's dig a little deeper into what are these habits that really block our femininity. Maybe it's self doubt for you, or negative self talk, or self criticism, that inner critic that just won't hold up or let up, or constantly seeking validation or approval from others. But here's the thing, these practices and these habits, they only do one thing, they lead to one thing, and that is dimming your light and preventing you from shining brightly into the world. The world deserves your brightest light, and you deserve to have it shine. So I invite you to take a closer look at these habits that you may be engaging in and really look at why you're embracing them and why you are dimming your feminine energy and your light as a woman. So let's talk about one of them, which is self doubt. I think it's something, it comes in a lot of names like self criticism, imposter syndrome, lack of confidence. But what this truly is you sending the message that you are not good enough. Now, having fears and having doubts, that's normal. That's a normal part of our experience. But when they become a habit, or as we say, fear is normal, but letting it stop you is where it becomes a problem. If that is happening for you, then you are dimming your light. And that self doubt sends signals throughout your body into your brain that you should dim yourself, that you should shrink. And so it's so important to learn to be aware of it and find ways to do the opposite, which is to have self worth and self esteem and self confidence, right? And related to self doubt, usually what happens when we have self doubt is we engage in negative self talk. That's where we have this running voice, this running story or narrative in our head that is just saying all of these negative things. It's like a peanut gallery, yang, 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 saying all of these things that make us feel badly about ourselves, that reinforce that we should doubt ourselves or that we should be so afraid that we shrink and we don't put ourselves out there. And a lot of times, negative talk can be automatic. Before we know it, it's like the background noise that we just accept. And so, again, awareness is key. If you find yourself automatically feeling bad, you might want to think about, well, what are the thoughts that I'm having about myself? What are the things that I'm saying? What is the story that I'm telling myself? Are you telling yourself a story of your power, of your beauty, of your grace, and all that you have to offer to the world? Or are you telling yourself a narrative and a story about how you're not measuring up, or somebody else is better, or you've always failed, so you're not going to be any good anyway, right? These stories reinforce what we believe about ourselves and they become our reality. Because if we don't truly think we're worthy, then we're going to shrink ourselves and we're not going to put ourselves out there. So, looking at your self doubt and your negative self talk and flipping them on the other side, which is to positive self talk and self worth and self confidence. The other thing that really happens with a lot of women is looking for too much outside validation or approval from others. Are you finding that you are constantly comparing yourself, or you're constantly looking for somebody to give you permission or to say that now is it's okay for you to do this or you're good enough? If you are, then you might want to take a step back and ask yourself, why are you giving your power to someone else? When we constantly seek outside validation or approval, what we're saying is that we're not worthy to give that to ourselves. And in a way, we are stuck in a childlike state because when we're kids, that's when we want to have, we do have to seek permission. But positive development and growth is that you go to a place of finding that motivation and that validation within yourself. And yes, your parents, when you're kids, the people taking care of you, they have to help you develop that self confidence and that self esteem and that self worth. But as an adult, if you don't have it, then you have to do the work to validate yourself and know that comparing yourself to others is a losing proposition. And the reason I say that is that life is such an individual and unique journey for all of us. There's no one timeline for life. Although we might think of having certain milestones at a certain age, there is no one path or journey or story to life. Everyone's journey is unique. And so when you start comparing yourself to others, again, it's a way of looking for outside validation, but what you're also doing is you're dishonoring your own path, your own journey, and your own story, your own narrative. And that keeps you from embodying your femininity. Because when you send signals through self-doubt, through negative self-talk, through negative comparisons, you send signals to your body and to your brain, again, that you should shrink, that you should not feel good about yourself. And nothing dims your femininity like putting yourself down. Femininity is such an inner job. It's that glow that comes from within. And it only flourishes when you begin to embody the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are only comes out when you embrace your authentic self and you love yourself and you understand your true worth, right? So if you're constantly comparing yourself to others, that also makes you afraid to speak up. Do you recognize yourself in any of this? Are you afraid to speak up? Are you afraid to express your true self? I saw a quote where one of the a therapist, Gabor Mate, said, "There's always going to be hurt. There's the hurt of shrinking yourself and not being who you are, not being your authentic self. That brings pain. But then there's a pain of trying to the pain of being your authentic self and getting rejection from that. So, which pain would you rather have? Would you rather experience the pain of being yourself and maybe risking some rejection from the people who were never meant for you anyway? Or would you rather the pain of just pleasing everyone else, not having boundaries, trying to get validation from everybody else, but yet you're not your authentic self, right? The authentic self wins each and every time because I think most of us would agree that the pain of rejection from being who you are and expressing your true self is a much better pain than the pain of trying to be something or someone that you are not. So it's time to let go of these habits that are no longer serving you. You can break free from these limiting patterns. Awareness is key. You can truly step into your power and embrace your femininity with confidence and grace. First, you have to start practicing self love. That is the core, and it truly comes from within. That is going to help you understand when you're experiencing self doubt and to not internalize it, not let it stop you. Doubt is okay, fear is okay. Stop letting it stop you is the problem. So when you practice true self-love, you will recognize that you are going to go forward despite the fear. You are going to be yourself, your best self, despite the self-doubt. And working on turning negative self-talk into positive self-talk. You really need to think about some positive affirmations that you can really believe about yourself and that you can look in the mirror and repeat and say over and over until it just becomes automatic. Practicing self care is a big part of this too. Self care is one of the best expressions or the most important expressions of your self love. One of the the things that I see women do that really depletes their femininity is they don't nourish themselves. They starve themselves. They don't eat, or they engage They get in a state of mindlessness where they engage in emotional eating, but that's also a way of not nourishing yourself because you're not nourishing or caring for your emotions. You get to a state where you have to feed them with food. Or on the other hand, you are not nourishing yourself, you're not eating, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not honoring yourself. And all of that depletes your feminine energy. Setting boundaries is another thing that you need to do that supports your self love, that supports, that's a form of self care. And it also shows people how to treat you. Your boundaries are a form of, it's a sign that says, I not only deserve, but I demand to be respected. So when you have boundaries, first boundaries with yourself, where you create non-negotiables, things that you're not going to let slip. And that has to be things like nourishing yourself, engaging in self-care, learning to practice positive self-talk. And then boundaries with others are those limits that you say, unless you understand how to treat me, you don't have access to me. So that is very, very important, especially for protecting your femininity. The other thing is learning to value and really be in touch with your authentic self. Look at ways that you might be not expressing yourself. And sometimes that lack of self expression starts with ourselves. We close ourselves off to ourselves. Journaling is a beautiful way to start to get in touch with your authentic self, start to express yourself authentically. And not everything has to be shared with everybody. So when I say express yourself authentically, it could first start with yourself or the closest people to you, and you can determine, you can be aware of ways that you might be shrinking in environments where you really need to blossom and bloom. And when you learn those great, beautiful, feminine communication skills that I talk about in my videos, see the link in the to the video above. When you learn those skills, you will understand how to gracefully and authentically communicate and express yourself, communicate your needs, communicate your desires, communicate who you are so that you will be valued and respected. So that communication and that authenticity starts within, and then it emanates outward, and communication is the tool that does it for you. So by beginning to practice these habits, these healthy habits, and being aware of the limiting habits that actually block your femininity, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to really blossom into the beautiful feminine woman that you are. Remember, ladies, your femininity is your birthright. And so are your boundaries. They protect your femininity. They work together hand in hand. And what I want for you, what I hope for all of you, is that you really tap into your endless potential and you really embrace the fullness of the beautiful woman that you are. It is truly time to unlock your feminine power and step into that full, beautiful woman. Embrace your uniqueness and let your light shine into the world, because not only do you need that, but the world needs more healthy, at ease, stress-free, happy, in touch with their femininity women. It is truly a gift to the world. All right, everybody, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and give me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. How have you had to break free from some of these limiting beliefs or limiting habits that have blocked your femininity? All right, take care. It's Dr. Nicole, and I will see you in the next video.